The Florida Gators just got absolutely dominated, destroyed, and abused by Kentucky.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Saturday. I don't know why I said happy, like it's not the most miserable Saturday of the day. I am Brandon Olsen. Find all my written work about the Florida Gators with swampsignal.substack.com. This is Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which I was hoping to be more happy when I got to say this out loud for the first time. But Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world now. I don't get to celebrate that as much as I'd like to, but that's where we're at. Florida just lost 38-7 against Kentucky. Bad. But I see in the chat, like, we'll get to everything. It's weird. Like, I can't even be like, oh, fire him. He's already fired. It's just like, this is what it is. I think we've passed the point where it's okay to say that the Florida Gators have checked out. Despite all the times that they could have checked out under Billy Napier and didn't for whatever reason, despite all the times where we could have easily said, hey, this is it, we're done. Nope. Like Ray Gravesgoat said, we have a saying here on Locked On Gators: Saturdays are for feeling, right? And personally, I don't think I have ever felt as just disappointed in the program as I do right now. A 31-point loss to Kentucky is not something that I thought would be in the cards. I genuinely just don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to describe Kentucky having, two 90-yard rushers. One was in the hundreds. Kentucky dominating Florida at the point of attack again, by the way, which is a trend in recent years. DJ Lagway being so bad that he got benched, which it was time, right? It was time for that to happen. I think that everybody gave him proper leeway. I sent it to the Locked On Gators Insider program, I think after the second pick. And I was just like, look, I think that I was very patient with giving, I think I was very patient before calling for Billy Napier's job. I think I've been very patient with DJ Lagway despite all of his struggles. Sometimes it's just time, right? And that's what it was for DJ Lagway. I'll say, is he fixable? I still believe that. I do. And I said this in week 3, I think it was, we spoke about this. I still think that DJ Lagway is fixable. I don't know that he's fixable at Florida. And that's where I'm at. And I want to be the guy that's mad and yelling right now, right? Because I think a lot of people want to be. And at the start of the game, I was, honestly. But then we got toward the end of the game, and I was just like, this is where we are as a program right now. Getting dusted by 31 by Kentucky. It's just bad, right? And I know that the time of possession battle is, Kentucky had the ball for 31 minutes and 33 seconds, and Florida had it for 28 minutes and 27 seconds. But anybody that watched that game knows Kentucky dominated time way more than that, right? And Kentucky probably would have dominated time way more than that, but they had a 30-ish yard touchdown pass that ate up a big chunk. Like, they had these chunk plays, and Florida didn't, right? And like again, like I wish I can give you more. I wish I can be cussing up a storm, and I wish I could be doing all that. But realistically, this team is checked out. And that is what it is, right? That is what it is. This team's checked out. The offense is checked out. The defense is checked out. You waited so long to make the change at quarterback with DJ Lagway. It was too late. And I hate being the guy, but like, if I don't see DJ Lagway throw another pass in a Florida Gators uniform, I really, like, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It just is what it is. And like that's all you could say, right? Like, that's what poor coaching gets you, is that you don't have the proper development. And it's not just at quarterback. We spent this offseason, right before the coaches got extended. I was saying, like, I wanted Billy Gonzalez replaced. I wanted Mike Peterson replaced. Rob Sale replaced. Like there hasn't been enough development here. Like, I do think that they've done a good job recruiting some spots, but development wise, it's just not there. And you go out and you get your ass kicked by Kentucky, and that's just a different kind of demoralizing, right? I'm sorry, I'm saying, I'm genuinely just having like a difficult time even processing what the hell is going on here, because this is just, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing for Florida to be in a spot where you went into Lexington, Kentucky, and you got your ass kicked. And that's, and like, we could talk about which coaches we like, which coaches we don't like. We could talk about who we want to be the next head coach, we don't want to be the next head coach. And that's fun, right? Like in a month and a half, we'll be able to talk about all that stuff and have fun doing it. But these next 3 games probably going to suck if you're going to put out a product like that. And again, like, this is, to me, worse than like the Muschamp McElwain, like watching that offense just be putrid, like getting annihilated by Kentucky right now, which isn't the first time it's happened in the Billy Napier regime. Sucks. 6 Semper Fi said no bowl. This team's not making a bowl game. I don't know what to tell you. The Florida State game will be the last time you see a lot of these players wearing that Florida Gators uniform. And honestly, this Kentucky game was the last time that a lot of them deserved to wear that Florida Gators uniform. This is a team that gave up in the first half. It really is what it is. It felt like, this game started and DJ Lagway and the offense had a little bit of a drive going to open the game, and then DJ Lagway threw the pick. Kentucky scored. You punt. You take the lead. You give up the lead immediately. You have a fumble. It was just a crappy game, right? It was just guys not being good enough, guys not trying hard enough, guys not playing hard enough, guys not playing well enough. Like, there's just no other way to put it. This is an awful game. And I do wish that there were better things to say about it. But I don't think there is anything better to say about it. Tramell Jones was thrown into an impossible position, so he didn't look good in the time that he had. But again, he was thrown into an impossible situation where Kentucky knew he'd be throwing the football. Kentucky knew that they'd be going. 6 Semper Fi said 5 and 7. Nah, man, I'm sorry. This is genuinely like we're on 3-9 watch. That's where we're at. At least it's not 2-10, but we're on 3-9 watch here. And that's an embarrassing spot to be for this program. That's an embarrassing spot to be as a team. And like, look, DJ Lagway stunk it up, yeah, but it's not just on Lagway, right? It's not just on DJ Lagway. It's on this offensive line didn't play great. We had drops, like Hayden had a drop. We had some catchable balls that really weren't caught. This defense gave up awful in coverage to start, where Cutter Boley's kind of dicing you up early on. And then once Kentucky really leaned on the run game, it was over. And then look, I see everybody talking about Scott Strickland's got to go and Scott Strickland this. Like, Scott Strickland's not going anywhere because of a loss to Kentucky. He's not. The fact remains that Scott Strickland was the athletic director that hired Todd Golden, who won a national championship in basketball, and then signed a contract extension. Strickland signed a contract extension. He's not going anywhere. That's it. I do hope that, like Joe Linden said, that DJ throws his last passes at Florida Gator. I hope he has. Personally, here's the thing. Like, I don't do the thing where I start bashing everybody and like, oh, you suck, you're awful, you're this. I don't do that stuff. As way more entertaining, I think, as it would be than me sitting here and being apathetic. But I don't do that. And Mike M can say you don't give a rat's you know what that he hired Golden. I don't either. Like, I don't either. But the fact remains that he's going to stay for that. Like, he signed an extension because of that. So the fact remains that regardless of how we feel, which we all feel the same way about it, that is what it is. This was an embarrassing game. Anybody in the chat that wants to vent, throw a question, comment, concern, we will get to all that and talk more about this dreadful game and this horrible state of the program when we get back with Locked On Gators. It is the weekend. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. So just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. Nobody delivered for the Florida Gators when it mattered most, right? Like, I know I'm supposed to come out here and say, oh, this player showed up and he delivered and he did this. But who delivered? DJ Lagway delivered the football to the other team. That's about it. That's all I could say about anybody delivering a damn thing in this game. No one delivered. No one balled. Jaden Ball maybe, but even then, no one delivered here. So with DoorDash Streaks, you save every time you order. You can stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, next Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. And when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. I am a very, very disappointed Brandon Olsen. Again, this is just it's awful. This game is awful. There's no way around it. There's no way to frame this one as anything was positive. Control analysts said Emory Jones was better than Lagway. Yeah. And part of that is because Emory Jones is more hated than he deserves to be. That's it. the obviously larger part of that is that because DJ Lagway is not good. Soldier Slim 63 said, check what Lane retweeted about UF. I got it sent to me in a DM during the first half of this show, where Lane Kiffin, who many people are talking about as, who Florida should hire to be his next head coach, he retweeted, Florida has benched QB DJ Lagway against Kentucky for the true freshman Tramell Jones. So Lane Kiffin retweeted that. That is what it is. Thank you for the super chat for that, by the way. But yeah, that's what Lane Kiffin retweeted. So there's that. And look, again, like Saturdays are for feeling. Monday, we will break down this game more. Probably we'll talk about what's going to happen at quarterback, which is hopefully going to be Tramell Jones starting full time. But like, again, outside of that, like, there's just no other way to put it other than this game sucked by every sense of the word. By every metric of saying, oh yeah, that sucked. This game sucked. That is what it is. This is a team that quit. This is a Florida Gators team that quit. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know how you can look at that game and say that they didn't quit, because it just wouldn't make sense to me to say that. Like that's a lie. And I don't lie to you guys, right? Like I'll be wrong about things, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. This team quit. No other way to put it. Like that's just offensively, defensively, coaching staff, special teams, like everything. They just quit. And Alexander said, Brandon, did it look like they weren't trying to you? It did to me. They were getting manhandled up front without it. Yeah. It did look like they quit. They quit. Daniel Augustin said, John Gruden. Oh my God. I'm just going to say this. If that's the Daniel Augustin that I'm thinking, Rap, you know what? Great. I'll say that. John Gruden, not great. No interest in him. No interest in John Gruden. Thank you. But yes, for the people that are talking about that this team quit, like they did. There was no effort. Kentucky had these long runs and guys were jogging around. There was clear animosity on the team between one another, where what was it? Sharif Denson and Cormani McLean were yelling at each other about something. I don't know what it was. When I get the all 22, I'll be able to maybe get a better look for it. But yeah, I don't know what the responsibility was, but I know that a player caught a ball that I think everybody went, wow, Sharif gave up another catch there. And then Sharif started yelling something at Cormani, and they started arguing. It was a team that was disinterested in playing football. Let's just call it what it is. This is a team that showed up to play, and the moment adversity hit, they were like, okay, this is my opportunity to check out. This is my opportunity to stop caring. The moment adversity hit, that's what happened. I don't know how else to explain it, how else to describe it. Adversity hit, and this team gave up. That's it. Oh man, if John Gruden was still coaching, this Gator team would be so different. LOL. This team would be way worse. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Control analyst, you're absolutely right about Gruden there. He does not deserve to coach a football team ever again. But yeah, this is like I've never seen Florida get manhandled by a team that I think everybody went, oh, that's a lesser opponent, the way that they did against Kentucky. It was terrible. I also will say this. After the Georgia game, I think a lot of people are like, oh, Ryan O'Hara did a pretty good job, right? And sure, he did a pretty good job. Yeah, Alexander also, I'm not saying every single player quit. That's just silly. But yes, I mean, I forgot where I was going with it. I got distracted by it. I'm just thinking about why this sucked so much, honestly. But this is, yeah, this is a game that just it's probably the most brutal loss I've ever had to cover, and that's saying a lot considering Florida lost to USF at home this year. Like that's Florida lost to USF at home this year. I hope Gruden becomes our coach just to put pie in your judgmental face. Okay, and when he's fired in 2 years and Florida loses a ton, okay. Gruden has championships under his belt. Buccaneers did pretty decent under his command. They actually won his first year there when it was mostly not his roster, and then they got spanked up and down the NFL because he's a career 500 coach, but he has one Super Bowl with a bunch of other coaches players. So good. Good job. I love bringing in a piece of trash that's also a bad coach. Love that. This is no 1 year recovery job. I mean, Kentucky rolled. Where do you go from here? Ryan O'Hara is what I was talking about. Week 1 for Ryan O'Hara as a play caller was the Georgia game, and a lot of people went, oh, like the offense looks a bit different. And talking about how the play calling was a little bit better and all that stuff. And it's just John Cluto. Like I do have personal issues with John Gruden. I do. He's also not a good football coach anymore. And never really was that good of a football coach. But Ryan O'Hara, this week on Locked On Gators, I was talking about Ryan O'Hara, and I said that for me, the measure of Ryan O'Hara as a play caller will not be based on your first game. It will be based on once defenses know what you want to do, you need to adapt. That's what a big thing with play calling is, and that's why you see so many, like in the NFL, you see a guy come in as a first year play caller. They light it up, right? And then year 2, like Bobby Slowick, year 2, they stink. And it's like, oh, well, what happened? And it's like, well, once there's film on what you like to do, you need to adapt. They ran inside zone on first down basically every play in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, or every first down in the first half. It was embarrassing. Call me what you want, Wibby. I really don't care about you. Ben Ponson said a few years ago, Kentucky manhandled Florida. Yeah, that was the Ray Davis. What did he have rushing that game? 7,000 yards, something like that. And he said that was the worst loss I've ever seen as a Florida fan. This one might just take the cake. I think this one does take the cake because I think 2 years ago, we thought Florida was better than Kentucky, but I don't think anybody going into the year was like, oh yeah, this Florida team is super talented 2 years ago. This year, we did that. I think a lot of people came in and said, hey, this is an incredibly talented team. So there's that. So I think this loss is worse than the other one. I do. I think this loss is worse than the 2023 loss. Yeah, it's brutal. Like I have not seen a team quit as quickly as this one did. Tank Hawkins is out. He said, hey, I'm gonna redshirt and call it a day. Which is embarrassing. I will also say this. I think that Tank Hawkins is someone with potential. I don't get the, like, I think now you're 2 years removed from being that recruit that everybody cared about, or being that recruit that a lot of people cared about. And I think sitting out is a bad decision. I don't think that it helps you at all here. You end the year with 2 catches and 16 yards. Honestly, I think it would have been a smarter decision to say, I'm going to finish this year. Like, I'm going to play out this year, especially with the injuries in the receiver room and opportunity actually being there. I'm going to finish out this year, and then I'm going to transfer. but you haven't had good film come out because you haven't played. And I'm not saying that it's his fault that he hasn't played, but at this point now, yeah, it is his fault that he hasn't played. And so that's just brutal to watch. This was, again, like one of the worst games that you're going to see as a Florida Gators fan. And again, it was really disappointing to watch just how quickly this team broke. I think that's what it is for me. I think that it's how quickly this team broke mentally, where it felt like in the first quarter, you saw guys starting to check out and they just never rebounded from that. And that's a sad thing to see, right? Like that's a sad spot to be in as a program, where you've got guys giving up in the first half against Kentucky. You've got a bench DJ Lagway, which it's over for him. Like I've said, like I think he's still fixable. I just don't think he's fixable at the University of Florida anymore. I think he needs a fresh start where there's not that pressure to be amazing. Go to a guy that's known for developing quarterbacks. Sit out a year if you need it health-wise. Like DJ's still got tools that some coach is going to see and say, I can fix him. Like some coach is going to see that. Same way they do in the draft, right? Coach sees Anthony Richardson and goes, I can make him work. That's what they do. That's what they do. So, like that, someone's going to still buy into DJ Lagway. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be someone that has a quarterback that's going to be draft eligible next year, or not even draft eligible next year, but someone that you think will declare for the draft after next year, and let DJ sit out a year to get healthy if he needs it, and rebound in that time. And I'm not saying that to say that I hate him or I dislike him. Again, like I don't do that stuff. I think it's just fair to say that it's over for DJ in Gainesville. I just don't know if he's fixable here. That's honestly what it comes down to. It's just like you just might need a fresh start. The relationship is soured, at least from the fan base to him. And like I hope he keeps his head up, but it's time. It's time there. You can't just be completely like you can't have an offense that's completely inept. And that's what Florida has. They scored 7 points and that only happened because of a muffed punt. Like you're done. You're done. You scored 7 against Kentucky, gave up 38 against Kentucky. It's over. John Cluto said DJ is not bad, but he was never that good. I think that DJ is bad right now. But I will say that I agree with you that he was never that good. This offseason, I spent time going, hey, like DJ was good for a freshman, but wasn't very good overall and needs time, needs to develop, and needs reps, and he got none of that because he was injured and stunk it up. So Jimbo Fisher, Dabo Swinney, and Bill Belichick all have won championships. Do you want any of them? No, I don't. Like, I don't care if you've won a championship years ago. I don't care if you won Super Bowls. I want a coach that's going to come in and I can say they're going to win football games in year one. I don't know that about any of them. Yeah, this team is, I mean, giving up is just inexcusable. Jaden Ball fought his ass off. I'll give him credit for that. I will always give him credit for that. This is tough. And like G just said, this team has zero development. Yeah, that was the thing, right? Like I think that the Napier staff did a fantastic job of evaluating talent and bringing in talent. I really do. I think where they went wrong was the development part of it. Like the approach that they took of saying, hey, bring in guys that are more raw as recruits, but have really high ceilings. Like Billy Napier had said before, We're recruiting draft picks. We're not recruiting college football players. We're recruiting draft picks. And what he meant by that was we're recruiting guys that have the elite physical traits, right? The height, weight, speed, some mental traits of like the aggressiveness, the leadership, whatever it may be. And we're going to recruit those guys who are not technically developed, and we're going to develop them. And when they were doing that in year 1 and year 2, you can go back to the show. I was talking about it a lot on the offensive line specifically, that strategy is great if you win enough games to be here to develop them and you actually develop them. And they did not develop them. And that's really where I think we fell short. Like it wasn't the recruiting necessarily. I do like a lot of the recruits that they came in or that they brought in, but it was development. Like look at the number of guys where they came in. They were great in year 1 under Billy Napier, or year 1 for them in college, depending on when that was. And then they just never take the next step. And that feels like it happened more often than it should have. Like, I don't know. I look at this team and I just say that it's a complete disappointment. Like, you look at the receiver room, a lot of them have, solid freshman years, and then all of a sudden, not so much. Right? Like how often have we seen that so far? The receiver room, the best receivers that you've had have been portal guys and freshman Trey Wilson, who came back for this Georgia game last week, had a great game, and then we didn't see again. This is just not a spot where Florida can Driscoll or Lagway. Jeff Driscoll, honestly. I'll say that. And I will also acknowledge that I have an unrealistic love for Jeff Driscoll, partially because of the way he handled his benching. I thought it was amazing to watch a kid handle it the way that he did. It didn't surprise me at all that when he got to the NFL and got an opportunity that he stuck around for a long while. And so I do think that looking at this team, like a lot of it comes down to not just on-field coaching, but a lot of it comes down to development. These guys, some of the guys were let down, right? But this was nothing short of completely disappointing and completely embarrassing, right? Getting destroyed by Kentucky. Like that, like good football programs, even when they're down, don't do that. Like right now, Florida just needs to like just press sim to the end of the season and let's get on with it. This is brutal. We will talk more about, unfortunately, this game. Unfortunately, the Florida Gators quarterback situation. Unfortunately, a lot on Monday on Locked On Gators, where, yeah, I mean, we'll probably start that with the quarterback conversation, right? Needs to be had. We'll talk about that on Monday on Locked On Gators. Until then, I am Brandon Olsen. Saturdays are for feeling. Thank you for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free. Please do be sure to like, subscribe, comment, review, do whatever it is you want to do. And I will see you all next time. It's the wrong button.